This is the Chicago album review for Chicago 3, released on January 11th, 1971, produced by James William Guercio. 23 songs for 71 minutes and 29 seconds. It's a double album, and or you can think of it as two really short 35-minute albums, but still 71 minutes is a long time to listen to an album. The album cover is it's called Tattered Flag, and it's in red, white, and blue. And you can see the Chicago logo in Coca-Cola style lettering is in red, and then you got the blue background, you got some white in here, and you've got the black stars, and it is rather tattered. And, you know, these guys are really against the Vietnam War, and I would consider this like a part of their protest. It sounds like another Chicago album, and I think we know what to expect now. A double album, prog, jazz fusion, jazz, a slight hippie vibe to the jazz, and vocals on top of the music. Terry Kath sounding like Ray Charles, and Robert Lamm singing like Elvis. And then, of course, you got Peter Cetera, who's just got a great voice. And repeating the sweet concepts from Chicago 2 on this one, where each member, not each member, but three of the members get to write their own suite in some cases with help from others. And the suites are generally written by Robert Lamm, Terry Kath, and Mr. Pankow. Okay? And for the music scores and sheet music I looked at, most of them came from musicnotes.com. And with that, let's get right into the album review. The first track is Sing a Mean Tune, Kid. It's a Robert Lamm song, and it's 9 minutes and 18 seconds, which I believe is the longest track on the album, and probably the best track on the album, I'll say. Peter Cetera is on lead vocals. Ba-da-bum-bum, ba-da-bum-bum-bum. Sock 'em in the gut, yeah. Okay. It's in the key of C major, and it's a moderate tempo, and it's in 4/4 time. And the verse is when Peter Cetera sings, "Sing a mean tune, kid, sock 'em in the gut, yeah. That's 12 bars. And then the other part of the song is the instrumental break. It's there's a couple of them. There's three of them. The first one is about 19 bars, if you count it. But it does seem like a weird count, like a rather abrupt ending at 19 bars. And it runs from 1 minute 42 seconds to 2:28, which is about 46 seconds in total length. And then the second instrumental break of the same of the song is similar to the very first one, but it runs from 2:57 to 3:44. It's about 47 seconds, or about the same. And then the third instrumental break is a very long one. It has a really long guitar solo, and it seems much longer than the first two breaks. It runs from 4 minutes and 13 seconds to the end of the song, and by golly, it is. It's 5 minutes and 5 seconds total. And at about the 8-minute 15 part, 8:15 second part, the tempo really slows down and the beat changes, and that's how the song winds down. So the song arrangement for Sing a Mean Tune, Kid is verse, verse, break, verse, the second break, verse, and then the third instrumental break. And then it includes that really long guitar solo. And then I think there's a verse and a chorus before that third one. And then that's the whole song, okay? So verse, verse, break, verse, break, verse, verse, chorus, jam. That's the song. Track 2 is Loneliness is Just a Word. It's a Robert Lamm song. It's 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And lead vocals are by Terry Kath. It's in the key of B flat major, and it's brightly in 3/4 time. And this is an interesting song. The verse is, "You don't know how bad it's been since you've been gone." It's 8 bars. And, you know, when Terry Kath sings these songs that are like, this song is about loneliness. I mean, you really feel it. You really feel it from Terry Kath's vocals. There's a chorus, or I guess you could call it a chorus, but people speak, but I don't hear things all around, but seems so unclear, I don't know. It's about 8 bars. And then there's a part after one of the choruses, there's like a post-chorus part, or I guess you could think of it as a bridge, but Terry's singing, "What will become of the love you turned off?" And that's about 12 bars. And then there's a break. This song has a shorter break. It runs from 1 minute 16 seconds to 2:09. which I counted at that fast tempo is about 60 bars. But I mean, it's hard to count when you're counting it that fast. And then, but it's just a big long jam for just less than a minute. Okay, so not too long, but almost a minute long. The song arrangement for Loneliness is Just a Word is a verse, chorus, that post chorus, which appears one time, or I guess you could think of it as a bridge, and then verse, chorus, break, verse, chorus. And that's Loneliness is Just a Word. Track 3, What Else Can I Say, is a Peter Cetera song. It's 3 minutes and 13 seconds, and lead vocals by Peter Cetera. It's in the key of D major, and it's played slowly in 4/4 time. By the way, a lot of these songs, they have a lead vocalist, but then they are singing in vocal harmonies. So, especially in a lot of the choruses, or in some spots, the lead singer's singing, and then there's a line after it that it's in vocal harmony. But for this song, it's the verses, "Where are you taking me? I can't follow you there." It's 16 bars. And then there's also a pre-chorus for this one. Not a post-chorus, but a part that goes before the chorus. "Early in the morning, waiting for me to rise." It's 16 bars. And then the chorus is, "Tonight, tonight, tonight, I'm standing here and it's clear." It's 34 bars if you include the "'cause I know that she'll never let me down" part, which... it's like a big chorusy part, but it almost seems like it's a second part of the chorus. And, you don't see a lot of 34 bar choruses, but it's, you could probably separate those and it could be considered a bridge or something like that, or a post chorus. The break in this song is 1 minute 44 seconds to 2:05. So about 50 seconds, and it's a 16 bar break. And, 16 bars, when you're counting slowly, it can take 50 seconds. So that's just the difference in tempos. And one of the things I enjoyed about this record is just there's a different feel from track to track. So they really got you on edge. The song arrangement for What Else Can I Say is a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, the break, and then one more chorus and an outro. And that's What Else Can I Say. Track 4, I Don't Want Your Money by Robert Lamm and Terry Kath. It's 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Robert Lamm is on lead vocals, and he's got, I would describe it as his Gene Simmons Cookie Monster voice. It's not quite the same thing the way Gene does it, but Robert is definitely singing with a different effect on his voice. And he's doing it himself. It's not a studio effect. It's just the way he's singing it. It's in the key of A major, and it's slowly in 4/4 time. The verse is, I don't want your money, it don't mean a thing, yeah, 16 bars. And then the chorus is, all I want is you, I want you to be your natural man. 4 bars. And then the instrumental, it runs from 2 minutes and 10 seconds to 2 minutes and 55 seconds, so about 45 seconds again. That seems to be like their standard, right? And this part, it seems like a showcase or a guitar solo. That's probably Terry Kath got the writing credit there. But it's a 16 bar solo. And then the outro, what I like about Chicago songs in this era, especially in the early 70s, is almost every song has, I won't say almost every, but nearly all the songs have a big outro that features the brass. And again, this is another one that does it. It's just like a really punchy outro. So the song arrangement for this track is a verse, chorus, instrumental with that guitar solo, and then a verse, chorus, and then an outro. Now, when we get to track 5, this is the part of the album where it's the travel suite. And on the back of the disc, it says Travel Suite tracks 5 through 10. Okay, so the first one of the travel suite is track 5, Flight 602. It's a Robert Lamm. And by the way, the travel suite is mostly by Robert Lamm with some assist by Danny, Terry, and Walter. But it's like you can just hear it. This sounds like Robert Lamm material. Okay. The first track is Robert Lamm, 2 minutes and 44 seconds, Flight 602, and the lead vocals are by Robert Lamm. This song opens with some acoustic guitar and the keyboards come in, and then it really takes off. Get it? Takes off, Flight. The key of, it's in the key of G major, and it's moderately bright tempo in 4/4 time or cut time or however you think about it. The verse is, you're on a plane now and on your way up north, it's about 8 bars. And then the chorus part of the song is, but you know there are people that you have to be about. And that goes on for about 12 bars. And then the interlude is the la da 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 da, that part of it. It's very fast. It's only like 12 seconds. It runs from 1 minute 27 seconds to 1 minute 39 seconds. And the song arrangement for Flight 602 is a verse, chorus, interlude, verse, chorus, outro. So real quick. And then track 6 is Motorboat to Mars, which is this track is way different from anything Chicago's ever done. It's Danny Seraphine. It's 1 minute 30 seconds, and what it is a fairly conservative drum solo. Nothing to write home about to mom, but what it does is it makes a stark contrast to the next song called Free, and so that's what Motorboat to Mars is. It's if you guys know me, I'm a Rush fan. I'm kind of into the Neil Peart drum solos. This one is more like a Nick Mason or a Bill Bruford, or it's more conservative, but it gets the job done. Okay, track 7 is called Free. It's a Robert Lamm track at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and lead vocals by Terry Kath again. And we're here. We're going down 4 half steps from G major to E flat major in key change from part 1 flight to part 3 free. So this one is key of E flat major, or I guess C minor, but it feels like a minor modal. It's moderately in 4/4 time. The verse is I want to be free of all the hurt, and it's 8 bars, and the chorus is I just want to be free. Oh yeah, and that's about 8 bars. And then the instrumental bridge is real fast, about 29 seconds, from 1 minute 5 to 1 minute 34. And this quick jam features the brass. And mainly what I hear is the trumpet. Okay. And the song arrangement for Free is chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And it's that instrumental bridge. It's one of those songs where the choruses start first. Okay. Track 8 is called Free Country. And we're still going on this travel suite. It's written by Robert Lamm, Terry Kath, and Walter Perzaider, and it's 5 minutes and 46 seconds, part 4 of the travel suite. This one is all about being free, no parameters. It's seems like it's the key of C major, but it's honestly, it could be all over the place. There appears to be no time signature, just playing freely. And the first part of this instrumental, by the way, no vocals. So the first part is piano. The flute comes in at 1 minute and 12 seconds, and it's pretty much just piano and flute duet. After the 3:30 mark, the chimes go off and other percussive instruments appear, and that's pretty much Free Country. Track 9 is At the Sunrise on Chicago 3. It's a Robert Lamm tune, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. First thing you hear is the piano and then lead vocals by Peter Cetera. The verse starts right away. It's in the key of B flat major, and so you're switching from a minor to a major key. It's very abrupt, but you're also it's quite a bit different from what you're hearing in Free Country. It's in moderately in 4/4 time. The verse is how could I be happy without her by my side? It's a 24 bar verse, and then the chorus is she gave meaning to my words, or funny words, meaning to my words. The time I had to leave her all alone. It's about 28 bars. So long verses and choruses. And then there's an instrumental bridge again. It's 16 bars, nothing major, kind of nice sweeping long notes of brass. That's what I hear. And it's the song arrangement is verse, chorus, the instrumental bridge, and then a final verse. And then track 10 is the final track of the travel suite. It's called Happy 'Cause I'm Going Home. It's Robert Lamm, 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Probably the second longest track on the album. The sixth and final track of the travel suite starts with some guitar strumming, and then the bass and drums, maybe cowbell or something he's tapping, they come in. Bum ba da da ba ba da da. That's the bass. There's a big bass line, and then the last few minutes of the song, the band is joined by a flute. By the way, lots of flute on this album, and I did confirm it is Walter on the flute. It's the key of F sharp major, happy cause I'm going home, and it's moderate Latin groove in 4/4 time, and it's all instrumental from beginning to end. And that's the end of the travel suite. I mean, if I were to summarize it, it's a huge instrumental, is what it is. But I think what he's going for is to feel like you're on a trip, like you're traveling or you're flying, or and even the themes of I'm free, I'm flight 608, I'm free, free country, I'm going home. Like you kind of feel like you're on a trip when you're listening to it. The next track is track 11 on Chicago 3. It's called Mother by Robert Lamm. It's 4 minutes and 31 seconds, but even though this is a Robert Lamm tune, it's not part of the travel suite. It's in the key of C major, moderately played in 4/4 time or cut time. But there are time changes in this song. The verse is driving down the concrete beams, looking around, and it now seems, it goes on. It's 16 bars with those time changes. And the chorus is, Mama Earth is nowhere gone from your eyes. 16 bars. And then there's a break that starts at 47 seconds and runs to 2 minutes and 35 seconds. That's like a minute and 48 seconds of just jamming. In the middle of that, at 1 minute and 20 seconds, the beat and the bass line changes, and it changes to like a trombone and trumpet duet, which is kind of cool. And then the verse starts again at 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And Mother is a verse, chorus, that long break, and then another verse, chorus, and that's Mother. Track 12 is The Lowdown, and I would imagine if you're listening to this on vinyl, this is probably the last track on side 2 or side B, side A, side B, side 1, side 2. Lowdown is a Danny Seraphine song and Peter Cetera at 3 minutes and 36 seconds. This song starts with like electric guitar strumming, keyboards, and then a big bass line. And Peter Cetera's on lead vocals. It's in the key of A major. It's moderately in 4/4 time. And the verse, oh, my life has passed me by, it's about 16 bars. The chorus, Lowdown, oh, feeling pretty bad, feeling like I lost my best friend, to 16 bars. And then there's an interlude of 8 bars, and they're just saying, oh yeah, and then there's another break that starts at 1 minute and 15 seconds, and it goes for 1 minute and 22 seconds total. And there's a big guitar solo in the break, and it trades off with the brass. So like first it's a big guitar solo, and then it goes into a big brass solo. And that part of the song ends at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. It goes right back to the verse. So the song structure for Lowdown is verse, chorus, the quick interlude of 8 bars, and then the break, and then another verse, chorus, and that's Lowdown. Okay, the next suite on the album is called An Hour in the Shower by Terry Kath, and it runs from tracks 13 to 17. And I looked at it, I looked at the times, it's only about 6 minutes total of music. So maybe I misspoke when I said if you have a vinyl version, maybe Mother and Lowdown start the second half. The second disc, or side 3 or side C, whatever you want to call it. But okay, let's get An Hour in the Shower with Terry Kath. Interesting title. Track 13 is A Hard Rising Morning Without Breakfast. It's a Terry Kath. All these are by Terry Kath, okay? And they're all short. So this one is 1 minute 52 seconds, and it's part 1. Terry Kath singing about breakfast, which is spam. It's in the key of D major, and it's moderately played in 4/4 time. And all these Terry Kath songs always have these big grand entrance and verse. And this one is key of D major. And the verse starts, today when I awoke, the morning blues hung over me for 12 bars. And then the chorus is, yeah, it helps me all the time. It's soothing to my mind, 8 bars. Now, maybe that's not really a chorus, because what I've noticed with Terry Kath is a lot of these songs he does like a 20-bar chorus, 20-bar verse, and there's no chorus. So it's either like verse, or it's verse, chorus. So however you think about it, these are just two 20-bar verses and it's not quite a chorus, but sort of is a chorus, or it's a verse, chorus, or it's just a verse, verse. So it's a Terry Kath tune. Track 14 is Off to Work. It's Terry Kath, 45 seconds, lead vocals by Terry. It really feels like the same track, but it is part 2 of the suite. And there's a key change, which he's going up from D major. This song is in E major, and it's in cut time moderately. So you feel the difference in, but it feels like a different song, but it's sort of like the same song. Like if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't notice. The verse is, "Now I must be off to work. I sweat all night in filth and dirt." It's a 14 bar. It's a very weird 14 bar verse. And then it transitions easily to the next track after that one verse to track 15, which is called Fallen Out. It's 53 seconds, part 3 of the suite, also by Terry, and there's not too much different. It's in the back to the key of D major, which is what the first part is, and it's in 4/4 time. "Now I lay me down to sleep, and I dream of my treasure map. It shows me 21 bars, just one long verse." That segues into the 4th part of the suite, okay? Except for the key changes, there isn't too much going on from track to track here. And this one is just one verse, Fallen Out. So now we go to track 16, which is called Dreamin' Home. It's 49 seconds, and this is part 4 of the suite. There's not much different. Well, let me rephrase that because I just read my notes wrong. There's not much different in the first 3 parts, but in the 4th part, this is a much different beat and tempo and key. Okay, so we're back to D major, and it's the awesome 20 bar verse, and it's "Dream, dream, dream, dreams in the night, take me back to you, the day comes with its friend, the morning blues again," verse. And I wouldn't say these songs called bluesy, but they're more bluesy than like the Robert Lamm, James Pankow songs. The Terry Kath songs have a different feel to them. Track 17 is Morning Blues Again. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds, and this is the final part of the suite. It's in the key of D major, so same key as Dreamin' Home in the first track. And it's also one verse. And the verse is, "Oh, oh, oh, so when you wake up this morning and those blues are hanging around, yeah." And it goes on. It's a 27 bar verse. One verse. And that's it. That's the An Hour in the Shower suite. To summarize the Hour in the Shower suite, it feels sort of like a Chicago version of the Abbey Road second half suite of the Beatles album. I mean, it's kind of like, it's not the same. I wouldn't say it's the same because you know what? So maybe I'll just save that because I'm doing Abbey Road. I'll do it this week. That was the plan anyway, and it's just a coincidence, by the way, that I planned it this way. But when I listen to the second half of Abbey Road, I'm going to be thinking about An Hour in the Shower, and I'll let you know if that comparison holds true, because that's kind of what it feels like. Now the third suite is called Elegy, and it's mostly by James Pankow, but it's an assist by someone named Kendrew Lasalis and the producer James William Guercio. And this is a suite of 6 tracks. Okay, it's 6 tracks, and it's mostly instrumental. And the first track is track 18, When All the Laughter Dies in Sorrow. It's Kendrew Lasalis, 1 minute and 3 seconds. Now it's not music. It's just a vocal. And Robert Lamm is reading this lyric that Kendrew wrote. I'm not going to read the whole thing, of course, but the verse starts, "When all the laughter dies in sorrow and the tears have risen to a flood." And it goes on. And then the ending, it ends, "Do you think a greater thinking thing will give a damn that man was here?" It's a fairly profound statement, or I guess not a statement, but a rhetorical question. um, on Chicago 2, James Pankow wrote um, he wrote one of the suites about the Vietnam War. And I think Robert Lamm did too. But it just, that's what I was thinking about when I heard it. And I thought about it a lot yesterday. I listened to this album like 3 times yesterday, and then every day I've been listening to it really over the last week or so. But pretty interesting start. Track 19 is called Cannon. Now we're getting into the James Pankow penned songs, and these are instrumentals. The first one is Cannon at 1 minute and 5 seconds. It's in the key of C major, although the first chord is an A minor. It's played slowly in 4/4 time. It's just when you hear the first chord is a minor, you can tell, right, when you hear it. It's just you're gonna get off to a somber start, is what I'm trying to say. It's a slow song in 4/4 time, and it's a very brass driven tune. No guitar or percussion, and it's got that big James Pankow brass feel to it. Track 20 is Once Upon a Time. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds. This one stretches out a little bit more. It's in the key of C major, and it's fairly slow in 4/4 time. It's an instrumental again. These are all instrumentals to end the record. And it starts with piano and flute, and then the bass comes in, and then the percussion starts at about 28 seconds. And then you go into a big production. And it feels like a big jazz, really it feels like a big jazz production, okay? And then track 21 is Progress with a question mark. James Pankow, James William Guercio. It's 2 minutes and 34 seconds also. It's in the key of G sharp minor with that minor modality, and moderately in 4/4 time. This one really does feel like it feels like it's in a minor key. I mean, it just hits you with a minor key. The key change to minor is significant, and this part drops the keyboards and the percussion and the bass. It's just the brass sort of playing all over the place. I would even say it's not in time, more like jazz freeform improv. Like it's sort of a crazy improv. And there's a jackhammer that starts at 1 minute and 10 seconds. And then there's big airplane sounds and horns honking. And then a bunch of stuff like that. Almost like I wouldn't say like a Pink Floyd album, but But then the toilet flushes at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's kind of seems unnecessary. But that's how you know when the song is over. Track 22 is The Approaching Storm, for 6 minutes and 26 seconds by James Pankow. This sounds like a jazz song, like a big jazz, like big jazz band. And for some reason, I kept thinking of the song on Broadway. There's both a keyboard solo and an electric guitar solo in this song. And it's in the key of C major, but the first chord is very odd. It's a D flat 7 sharp 9, which is like almost something you never hear. It just kind of wakes you up, and it's fairly bright in 4/4 time, and it's an instrumental. And like I said, the hallmarks of the tune are the big jazz sound, and the awesome keyboard solo and awesome electric guitar solo. The last track on the album is track 23, Man vs. Man in the End. It's a James Pankow. It's 1 minute and 33 seconds. This is the big ending to the song and the album. Lots of big sustained whole notes, like that. It's also key of C major, very bright, 4/4 time, instrumental. And to summarize the Elegy Suite, it feels like a big jazz band performance. Pretty cool, honestly. I'm going to say on this album, it's the best of the 3 suites. Yeah, it's my favorite of the 3 suites. Okay, that's Chicago 3. In summary, allmusic.com gives it 4 stars. Progarchives.com is a 3.62. which is pretty good. That's lower. I gotta believe that's lower than 1 and 2. Okay, that's a good score from PlyoGuy.com. If you get a 3.62, and it's not like a fudged score, like you have more than 100 user reviews or user ratings. That's solid. That's solid. This is a solid album. The album did 1.1 million in sales. That's good for number 31 in 1971, and the album was certified platinum in 86. And what do I like about the album? I'll just say my favorite track is "Sing a Mean Tune, Kid." But really, the first 4 songs carry the album. And then you have the 3 suites. The travel suite's okay. Terry Kath suite, an hour in the shower. It feels, it has the big Terry Kath feel to it, and his guitar is all over it. His guitar's all over the album, by the way. He's a fantastic guitar player. I like that part of it, and I like Elegy. I like the album. It really grew on me. And Chicago is really growing on me. I wouldn't dare say I'm in a stage like I was in a huge Rush stage earlier this year, but it's kind of like a stage. It's I'm just gonna enjoy it while it's happening. I'm just listening to all these Chicago albums. I would say of the first 3, if I were to rank the first 3, the first one, Chicago Transit Authority, that's the best one. Chicago 2 is the second best, and then this is the third best. It's 3 of 3. But it's not really too much different, honestly. I just like the first one the best. And but they're all good. I mean, I enjoy them. Okay, next on the channel, Abbey Road, as I already mentioned, by the Beatles. And it's kind of fun, too, because I've been watching on Apple Plus, not Apple Plus, on Disney Plus, I've been watching Get Back, which is the Beatles. It's the Peter Jackson thing, and it's like an amalgamation of all the tape into one movie. It's like an 8-hour movie of the Beatles recording Let It Be. But there's all kinds of takes on Abbey Road songs. So it's interesting to hear those in development and then to watch the guys work together. So I'm going to keep watching that. And I'm almost done with it. I'm almost up to the part where they do the rooftop concert, which I saw. I went to the Hall of Fame and they were showing that. Okay, anyway, enough about Abbey Road and the Beatles Get Back. So Abbey Road will be next. And then after that, the Yes album. The Yes album. I'll see you guys. Thanks for listening. I'm out.